So today we are going to discuss about proximity sensor and the range sensor. There are different type of proximity and range finder sensors. The well-known type of proximity sensors are inductive proximity sensor and capacitive proximity, as well as IR, infrared proximity sensors. Similarly, for range sensor, basically there are two types. Infrared, ultrasonic, and the photo types of range sensors. So actually the range sensors use the technology of animal beings like a bat and a shark. Okay, so the bat normally emits ultrasound. What is human hearing sound? Human hearing sound is 20 to 20 kilohertz, whereas the bat bird emits more than 50 kilohertz. So that's why it is called a ultrasonic sound. So these technology people implemented in the industrial application, especially for robotic field. Okay, so today we are going to see the topic on proximity and range sensors. Okay, let's go to the discussion. So let's see where the proximity sensors are mainly used. Okay. So the proximity and range sensors techniques mainly used for the presence of and absence of the object with the electronic non-contact sensors. So there are two types basically very well useful sensor called inductive and capacitive proximity sensors. So inductive and proximity capacitive proximity sensors. Mainly these sensors used for object detection and collision avoidance. So in American countries, all the vehicles equipped with proximity sensors to avoid collision. When the vehicle is stopped at the traffic signal, so the next vehicle should automatically park with a gap of say 1 or 2 meters to avoid pollution. Okay, so that is the main advantage of the pollution avoidance. Then object verification. Say say in industries, assume the Cerelac or Horlicks bottles or any other bottles. When so when it is moving on the conveyor belt, the proximity sensors check whether the bottle, Horlicks bottle or the Cerelac box is filled with the material or not. If it is not filled, it will automatically reject from the conveyor. You understand what I am saying? So detection of object, whether the object inside the box is available or not. Then also the proximity sensors used for counting. So how many boxes, how many glasses are passing over the conveyor. So it parallelly does dual role, one for object verification, other for counting. So simultaneously it will do two things, right? Next is there are commonly available proximity sensors are inductive proximity sensor, then capacitive proximity sensor, then ultrasonic and photoelectrical and optical sensor. You can also add IR, okay, IR sensor. Okay. Let's see one small clip that will explain about the applications. Right? So here, this is the probe. So actually, the inductive and capacitive transducers are mounted like a probe. So you see here, one vehicle stopped in this signal, the another vehicle automatically maintains the gaps. So actually, we can fix these sensors for the human being for this pandemic situation. Okay, when the people are in queue. Similarly, you see here, this black colors are proximity sensors mounted on the cable. So this is a typical inductive and capacitive proximity sensor probe, okay, probe model. When the object neighboring the, so it will detect. See here, this is the typical probe. We have seen that probe, right? A small probe that is similar to this. So this is the probe. See, this is probe. Sorry. So this is probe. Actually, this is uh, uh, this is the uh, ferrite. This is the ferrite material. See here, this is ferrite material. Okay, ferrite material. This is the electromagnetic field. Electromagnetic field. Okay, so this is all the internal parts. These are all the internal parts of the this probe. Okay, this we are seeing this probe. This is the commercial product. This is the internal parts of the product. So here, this is the internal ferrite material. Also along with the coil. Okay, the ferrite core. The core is core with uh, magnet. Okay, so core with the magnet. So core with ferrite magnet. Okay, so with the coil, sorry, coil. And so coil is wound over the ferrite core. This is nothing but the oscillator stage. So this is oscillator. Oscillator. Okay, this is nothing but the uh, switching device. Okay, a triggering stage. So this is oscillator. Oscillator come demodulator stage. Here oscillator come demodulator. Demodulator. Okay, this is triggering stage. Triggering stage. So this is output switching. Output switching stage. That is output stage. Output stage. So let's see the detailed circuit diagram of oscillator and the head. Actually, this portion is called a sensor head. So this portion is called sensor head. So sensor head. Sensor head. Clear? Sensor head. So the proximity sensor, whether inductive or capacitive, the various parts of the proximity sensor are sensor head, then oscillator, okay, oscillator stage, then triggering stage, and output stage. These are all the common. Okay, so common. So here, here you see here. Object. So when an object approaching to the sensor probe, so it detects. So when it detects the object, immediately this is output wiring. This is output. This maybe go to this output, goes to relay, any relay system, or controlling system or any other controlling system. Okay, controlling system. So these are all the important components of a inductive transducer. Let's see in detail one by one. So the proximity sensors, proximity transducers are basically of two types, inductive and capacitive. So inductive detects ferrous metals object, capacitive non-metallic as well as it also used for metal with high, uh, very high permittivity. Okay, so capacitive transducer also detects metal with the high permittivity. Understand? So whereas inductive transducer only detects ferrous metallic objects. Okay. See the functional stages, as I explained in the previous stage. See sensor head. Okay, sensor head and oscillator and demodulator and triggering and output. Okay, so here you see this is target. This is target. This is the sensor plate. This is the inductive sensor plate. Sensing head or sensing head. Sensing head. This is oscillator stage. This is demodulator as well as triggering stage. This is here. This is nothing but shimmer trigger. Here normally use shimmer trigger as the demodulator. What is that? Shimmer trigger. Shimmer trigger. Okay, shimmer trigger. Finally this is the output trigger stage. Output amplifier. This is the output wires for triggering the operating stage. That most of the cases this will be a relay. Okay, this will be a relay, electromagnetic relay, because the output from this stage, this output is DC of say 12 volts, only 12 volts. Whereas if you want to operate very high machineries, motors or any circuits, we have to connect a high power circuit. So, but the DC output from these sensors only low voltage. So we connect relay for switching of high voltage AC circuits. So that's why we use relay here. Okay, relay. So the sensor head is basically a tank circuit. So oscillator is nothing but a tank circuit. Okay. So what is tank circuit? One inductor and one capacitor. So inductor and capacitor. So together forms a tank circuit. So this L inductor circuit, a capacitor. So this circuit is called tank circuit. Okay, tank circuit. So this is the sensor head. There are two types of sensor head used in the inductive proximity sensors. One is unshielded and shielded. Okay, so based on the construction, we classify into shielded and unshielded. Okay, so what happened? This is actually, you see here, this is nothing but eddy current. Eddy current. Eddy current. The coil generates eddy current. Eddy current. So the coil, this is the sensing coil. The coil with the ferrite magnetic core. This is a ferrite core. Coil with the ferrite core. So, coil with ferrite core. This is electromagnetic field. Okay, electromagnetic field. So electromagnetic field. Electromagnetic field is generated here. Actually, what is this? This is the target. Target or metal object. Okay, object. Understand? So object. So when the object, when the object is approaching towards this, actually the tank circuit, this tank circuit you see here, the tank circuit is connected to non-inverting terminal of the amplifier. Okay, it is connected in a closed loop circuit, non-inverting terminal of an operational amplifier oscillator circuit. So the non-inverting terminal, the positive terminal. So this, so automatically when the power is switched on, current is passing through the tank circuit. So in the tank circuit, the inductor is replaced by the sensor head, the two sensor head. Either type of sensor head is attached in the tank circuit of oscillator. So oscillator is nothing but LC oscillator, a tank circuit oscillator. So when current is passed through the tank circuit, so this circuit, you see, when current is passed through circuit, oscillator current, that is called oscillator current. Say when passed, say you can also put I oscillator. So electromagnetic field generates continuously. Okay, when the current passes through the tank circuit, so electromagnetic field continuously. So that may expand or contract depend on the contacts. Okay, so when metal is approaching towards the coil, the sensor head, say when metal is far away, say this is object. Okay, when object is far away, the oscillator generates very high frequency oscillations, sinusoidal oscillations. When it approaches towards the sensor head, the oscillation suppresses. When the object is very near to this, say here, and the object is on the sensor head, so almost no oscillation. Okay, so the complete oscillation is suppressed. There is no magnetic field generation. Okay, so based on the construction of the core, we can have two types of proximity sensor. Shielded, that is for bundle. Shielded means only it detects the directional object in front of the object. Say this is a shield, so this will detect only in this area, only in this directional object. Whereas this unshielded also detects side sensitive. So this is side sensitive. This is direct sensitive. This is shielded is for direct sensitive. Whereas the unshielded for is both direct as well as side. It also detects the nearby side sensitive objects. Okay. Actually, it has a closed loop op-amp. So the non-shielded, you see, the non-shielded sensing range of 25 to 50% longer than shielded type of sensors. Okay, longer than how much? 25% to 25% to. So 25% to 50% longer than, say, our unshielded, shielded. Okay, unshielded, unshielded. So the sensing range for unshielded is 25 to 50% longer than the shielded type. Okay, so the best choice is most of the industry uses unshielded type. So this is the most choices for industries. Most choices for industries. So because of long sensing range, shielded type tolerances the metal. Okay, only for metal in the mounting area. The protected from physical damage being mounted. Okay, mean the flush mounted. Let's see the individual as I told you, the various parts of inductive transducer is sensor head. So first sensor head, let's see one by one. First we see the oscillator stage. Oscillator stage along with the sensor head. So our sensor, say sensor, okay, this is oscillator stage. So this is tank circuit, this is oscillator, this is connected to the non-inverting terminal of op-amp. So non-inverting terminal of the op-amp. So the non-inverting terminal of the op-amp, this is the closed loop configuration. This is a closed loop configuration. So closed loop configuration. Okay, so this is op-amp. Say, let us name this is a sensor head, inductive sensor head, inductive sensor head. Say this is L, inductor L. Say this is C1, C1, capacitor C1. This is considered R1, the R2, R2, then R3, R3. So this stage is called oscillator stage. Okay, in the oscillator stage, this is grounded. So it can also give a power supply to the op-amp. Power supply to the op-amp. Plus VCC ground. So we can connect the ground here, not minus VCC, plus VCC and ground. So when this is the oscillator stage, next is demodulator stage. Okay, demodulator stage. So this, what is demodulator? Demodulator is nothing but a device which converts the modulator signal into a DC signal. A DC signal, that is called a demodulator. Clear? Demodulator. So demodulator. So you see what is the component in the demodulator. The demodulator consists of a diode and a resistor and a capacitor. Resistor and a capacitor. Resistor and capacitor. Say this diode is D1, say R4, C4, sorry, C2, C2, okay, C2. This is a diode D1. So here also you can do power supply. Say this stage is connected here. So this stage, this box is demodulator stage. Next is shimmer trigger, triggering stage. So what is in shimmer trigger? Shimmer trigger is nothing but, triggering stage is nothing but a shimmer trigger. Sorry. Shimmer trigger is nothing but you see this is the typical symbol for shimmer trigger. Shimmer trigger. Shimmer trigger, we can give supply from this. So this is the triggering stage. So what is the role of this shimmer trigger? The shimmer trigger generates, there are two possible output from the shimmer trigger. So when the input to the shimmer trigger is very high, okay, very high, then output from the shimmer trigger also very high. You can understand or not? So there are two levels. We can configure either case also be possible. So when the input to the shimmer trigger is very high, we can also have the output is very low. Okay. So either case we can have it. So either case we can have. So this is called triggering stage. Next is output stage. So outputs. First we will see so this is sensor head. This is sensor head. Then okay, this is oscillator stage. Oscillator stage. Next is this is demodulator stage. Demodulator. So this is triggering stage or shimmy trigger. So triggering. So triggering stage. So this is connected to the next stage called output triggering stage. So these configurations are common for both the inductive as well as capacitive. There is a difference in the sensor head and the output stage. Let's see what is in the output stage from this. Okay, from this stage. So this say this is equal to X. Here, let me continue with the output stage. Output stage. Impossible. So here we design okay. From the shimmy trigger X. So it is connected to a output stage. This output stage consists of a PNP transistor. Okay, PNP transistor. So this is PNP transistor. PNP transistor. This is output indicator. Output indicator. So this is RTD. RTD. So power line is coming from common line from the whole circuit. Okay. So this is LED for output indication. LED for output indication. LED. So this is say previously R1, R2, R3, R4. Say this is R5. Okay, R5 or RL load resistor. This is nothing but load resistor. Can have it R5 or RL. So say this is T1, T2, T3. Terminal T1. This is ground terminal, or you can either way you can take minus terminal or ground terminal. So this is T2. T2. This is T3. T3 is the positive terminal. T3 is positive terminal. Okay. So here we use one diode here in this circuit. We use a diode here. This diode is D2 because already in demodulator we used one diode. So that is D1. Here is D2. We also use a protective device for non-reversing the voltage or maintaining the voltage output. Okay. So this is a Zener diode. Zener diode. So this Zener diode, say Zener diode. This Zener diode regulates the constant voltage. It's a regulator. So this D2 is the reversing power. Suppose this D2 allows only positive voltage towards this direction. Suppose from the circuit, if current reverses, this diode won't allow us. Okay, so it is a protective diode. This D2 for protection. D2 for protection. So RTD is also for protection. RTD is also for protection. What is the concept of RTD here? When current increases, okay, when current increases, it passes through the RTD. RTD is nothing but not like a big RTD, whatever we do in our laboratory. It is a platinum element, small element. It has some 100 ohms at room temperature. Okay, when pass current through the RTD, I square R losses. Okay, so I square, that is self-heating air. I square R generates losses. So when very high current passes through RTD, resistance will be increasing. So the resistance will be increasing. So that it will protect the device. So this is a PNP transistor. So PNP transistors are normally called as sourcing transistors. PNP. This is a PNP transistor. PNP transistor. So PNP transistor is in the output stage. So our output device, either relay or anything, we can connect at this stage. Okay. So output device. Either it may be alarm, relay. So I will tell some output devices. Relays, alarms, and thyristors are triggering circuits, etc. So we can have any type of output device. We can have it here. Okay, so you can have any output device here. So this is called output stage. So there are 5 stages. Output stage. So there are 5 types. See what are the devices? Okay. So we have sensor head of 2 types. One is unshielded type. Another one is oscillator stage. Second stage is oscillator stage. The third one is demodulator stage. Fourth one is triggering stage. Okay, triggering or symmetrical. This is triggering stage. Next, this X goes to this circuit goes to output stage. That I will explain here. This is output stage. Okay, from triggering stage. Okay, triggering stage. Understand? So what is actually happening in the triggering stage? So what is happening here in the triggering stage? So in the triggering stage, the output of the demodulator goes high. When the output of the demodulator is high, then Schmitt trigger produces 2 voltages. If the demodulator decreases, the amplitude, it causes a trigger. trigger output quickly change to low output voltage. So when demodulator decreases the output voltage, then shimmer trigger also reduced to low output voltage. When demodulator increases its output, demodulator increases the output, then the shimmer trigger output goes to immediately at the high voltage level. You know higher lowering triggering point and the upper triggering point, UTP and LTP in the shimmer trigger operation. So that happens here. Okay. So when demodulator goes to say, I will explain with the diagram. You see, sorry. Suppose demodulator. Let us see some. I'll explain with another diagram also. No problem. Say this is oscillator. So demodulator. Okay. So when at this point, the object is far away from that sensor gate. Okay, far away from the sensor gate. This object. So when object approaches the sensor head, the oscillator output is suppressing. So towards what happened? Chat. What happened? So when the object is away from the sensor head, more oscillations. So when object is nearing to the sensor head, at this stage, the object is at sensor head. Say here, object at the sensor head. When the object is at sensor head, this is the demodulator. This is a demodulator output. Demodulator output. So demodulator output. So when the metal is considered on the object, when metal is on the object, there is no oscillation at all. Okay. So when the oscillation suppresses, so say the demodulator, this is oscillator output. Demodulator is like an envelope. Okay, this is envelope. So at shimmer trigger, say shimmer trigger produces low voltage. Low voltage. So this is upper triggering point. This is a lower voltage. So upper high voltage. This is lower voltage. When demodulator decreases to low, so the shimmer trigger goes to low high. Okay, low output, very low output. That is very low level output. When the demodulator again start increasing, it goes to the shimmer trigger. This is a shimmer trigger. Shimmer trigger. Sorry. So shimmer trigger, this is shimmer trigger output. Shimmer trigger output. See here, this is the simple representation of so this is a simple representation of the sensor gate. Say this is various object positions, various object positions. So these are all considered, these are all sensor head. Okay, these are all sensor head. So sensor head. So various positions of sensor head. Okay, sensor head. So what happened? This figure depicts how the oscillator generates and what happened to the demodulator. So these are all various sensor head positions. This is various object positions. So this object is away from the sensor head. This object is approaching towards the sensor head. Finally, this object is very proximity to the sensor head. So these are all sensor heads. Clear? So you see, when the object is away from the sensor head, more oscillations. Okay, more oscillations are generated. So as sensor head is nearing to this sensor head, various object, when metal objects are nearing to the sensor head, you see here almost suppresses. So what is the demodulator output here? So demodulator output is, it converts the AC modulator signal into say DC output. DC output. Say the output is like this is the demodulator output. So this is the zero, almost 0 volt output when the sensor head is very proximity to the when the object is very proximity to the sensor head. Okay, this is the depictor. So this you see the various sensor positions, the object and sensor head positions. Okay, see this is oscillator output. So this is oscillator output. So you see this oscillation. So when the object is far away, more oscillations. When it is approaching towards the sensor head, object is approaching sensor head, it suppresses. So this is a demodulator output. This is demodulator output. See, this is triggering stage, Schmitt trigger output. See, when demodulator is decreasing to low, the Schmitt trigger goes to another lower positions, right? So this is Schmitt trigger output, Schmitt trigger or triggering stage output. So this is when Schmitt trigger goes low. When Schmitt trigger goes low, we go back to the the output stage. You see here, this is from Schmitt trigger. Okay, Schmitt trigger. So when Schmitt trigger is low voltage, low level, so low level. So when the input to the PNP transistor is low, because the PNP transistors are sourcing transistors. When it goes low, the PNP starts conducting. Okay. Also, the output is connected here. So this RL, we say this is R5. R5 you can name some name for this resistor. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. You can have it R5. So this lighting LED, this load current load resistor to prevent the high current in the circuit. Okay. So LED will blink when the output is high. So when the Schmitt trigger goes low, output is high. So output goes to high. That is here. See, so when the Schmitt trigger goes low, this is the output stage. So output is high. Clear? Output is high. Okay. Understand? So this is the typical operation of a inductive transducer, inductive proximity sensor. Next is capacitive proximity sensor. Okay. Before that, we will give some discussion on output stage. So the detailed components of the circuit. Next we see capacitive transducer. Or I will explain first the principle of operation, how this sensor operates. Clear? How the sensor operates. If the metal is not detected, you see here, if the metal is not detected, the output amplitude of the oscillator and demodulator stage, the output oscillator and demodulator stages are high. So the Schmitt trigger output goes low. So the output is high. When the metal is detected, the oscillator and demodulator stages are low or nil, then Schmitt trigger goes high. So when Schmitt trigger goes high, it triggers the PNP transistor, so that the output is high. Okay, output is goes to on position. So off and on. Okay, off and on. Next is capacitive Schmitt trigger. So the applications, let's see the applications of inductive transducer. Applications of inductive transducer. First application, number one. So non-contact switching, fast switching. Without any contact, okay, fast switching without any contact, without contact. So these sensors can operate in excess dirt, the dirt environment, oil, moisture, shock, and vibration and pressure, okay, and pressure. So this environment also we can operate these sensors. Then detection occurs at the cold ambient also, okay, even at a very cold, very high cold. So even in these sensors can operate in Kashmir as well as in Pondicherry, okay, like a extreme condition. The metals are detected through a non-metal surface. Okay, this can be used. So detection at even at high temperature, high as well as low ambient temperature. So this all also apart from this, as we seen in the very first slide, these sensors are used to detect object, then check verification, object verification, object counting. So this all includes in the applications. So next is capacitive proximity sensor. This sensor, you see, similar to the inductive transducer, inductive sensor. So this is object, target. This is object. This is called object or target. So this is nothing but a plate. Say plate or electrode. So this plate acts as one electrode. The neighboring object, this may be either permittivity based object, say mica or any other. Okay, so this is some object with permittivity. Even this object may be metal, but it should have very high permittivity. So this is this stage is called sensing head stage. So this say this is called one plate, okay, one electrode. One there are, because capacitor has two plates, no, capacitor has two plates. So one plate, this object acts as one plate, this object as another plate. Okay, this is connected to our oscillator circuitry. So same again, here also we have oscillator and trigger. The triggering stage is Schmitt trigger stage. So this is output switching device. Says this is the internal parts of this capacitive transducer, capacitive proximity transducer. So this is this plate you see here. This is nothing but the front probe. This is a probe. So this is also called probe. So what is the principle of operation? The principle of operation here is when the object is nearing the probe, an object when the object is when there is no object in the capacitive proximity sensor, the epsilon, the permittivity is nil. So there is no permittivity because there is no pair of electrodes when the object is not present. So when object is approaching towards the sensor head, the epsilon, the permittivity increases. Okay, so this permittivity increases. You know that the C capacitance equal to what is C? C equal to epsilon A by D. So D is the gap between the two electrodes. Epsilon is the permittivity of the electrode, that object. This A is the area of cross section of the sensing portion or electrodes. So when the epsilon, permittivity increases, the capacitance also increases. So capacitance also increases. This capacitance generates this capacitance response for the output. This capacitor, increasing capacitor, act as the trigger for the output. Okay, so it detects object. Detects object, the non-metallic object. As I told you, the capacitive proximity sensors also detect the metals with the high permittivity. This can detect plastics, glass, water, and the food materials as well as Horlicks, Cerelac, etc. Okay, the range of the proximity sensors depends on the distance and the permittivity of the physical size of the object and also the permittivity of the object. So this normally detects epsilon value, epsilon value greater than 1.2. Okay, greater than 1.2. These are all the basic principles of operation. You see the circuit. This is the probe, similar to inductive transducer. Here also probe is there. So okay. So what are the types of probe? So there are two types of probe here. One is probe for metal object. Another one is non-metal object. Okay. So here you see. So this is the two. As I shown in the previous slide. This one probe is attached in the sensor head. Another plate is in the front, the front probe. So, okay, so it generates some field. Okay, so some field here. So when non-metallic, non-conductive or non-metallic material with high dielectrics, this is a very high with so non-metallic with high dielectric. Similarly, the conductive material with high dielectric. So what happens when non-metal or dielectric material approaches the probe? So it improves the dielectric strength. It improves the dielectric strength. It improves dielectric. So dielectric. So this is nothing but this is the object, non-metal object, non-metallic object. Whereas when the conductive material approaches, you see the dielectric field is distorted. So that means when the conductive material is approaching the probe, it acts as another electrode. You see here. So this is this is A plus. This electrode, say consider A plus. This electrode B minus, as in the B minus. So similarly here you see this is A plus. This is A minus, B minus. Sorry, B minus. See, same probe, but with the conductive material is approaching the probe. So what happened? this center center is nothing but the another metal plate. It acts as uh, uh, electrode. So this acts as a plate or electrode. Okay, this acts as another electrode. So what happened when there are two here, uh, two electrodes already there. One, two, then third. This also acts as one electrode. So what happened? The increase in capacity. So between this A plus and this, there is a capacitance C1. Say consider C1. So another between this and this, another capacitance occurs, that is C2. Okay. So this is the basic concept in the probe. When the non-metal, that is non-metal dielectric material approaches the sensor probe, it generates very high dielectric strength, whereas the non-metallic, metallic object with the high dielectric strength approaches the electrode, that itself acts as the third electrode. So it it enhances the capacity. So there are more capacitance affected involved here. Okay, so let's see what are the stages, what are the actual circuit in the what are the actual circuits in the capacitive proximity sensor. Okay, let's see the stages, various stages. Okay, so first is probe, the sensor head. The sensor head is has two A plus and B minus probes are there. So this forms a capacitance. This forms a capacitance. So here this oscillator is nothing but RC oscillator. This oscillator is nothing but RC oscillator. But here this oscillator acts as a closed loop configuration, but the sensor probe is connected to inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. Inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. Okay, so this is oscillator state. In the feedback, you see in the previous inductive transducer, we have LC oscillator tank circuit, and only in the feedback we have only resistor. But here resistor and capacitor in parallel. Okay, so this sensor is C1. This sensor head C1, say C1. This feedback capacitor C2. This is R1. You take this is R2. This is R3. Clear? The next stage is same as that of your inductive proximity sensor. What is the diode, demodulator stage, diode, and resistor and a capacitor? Understand? Similar, except this probe, probe only changes. Sorry, can have resistor, this resistor also there, R1, this is R2, say R3, R4. Okay, R4. This is R5, say D1, C2, C3. This is C3. So this stage is demodulator stage. Next is Schmitt trigger stage, triggering stage. Same triggering stage. So next is what? Next is the output stage. This is goes to output stage. Connect to output stage. Clear? So let's see what is in the output stage. So in the output stage, very simple. The output stage is made up of this output triggering stage. Here we use NPN transistor. NPN is sourcing. You know the principle of NPN transistor working and PNP transistor working. We do not know. Let me explain that also. You can easily understand. Okay. In the output stage, sorry, how to put it? Sorry, this forget about this. Okay, I will draw. The output stage. This is plus VCC plus line. From the plus line, we take one resistor in parallel with the LED for indication. Okay, then one resistor. This again resistor. So PNP. Okay, here is a PNP transistor. PNP transistor. This is plus voltage, plus terminal T3 as usual, T2, T1. So here we use RTD here for preventing the transistor. RTD here. You see, this is nothing but what is that? This is NPN. Okay, NPN, not pointing node. NPN transistor. So here we connect the Zener regulator for regulating the voltage. So here T1 is either negative or ground. T2, then T3. The output is connected across T2 and T3. This is the output stage. Output connected across this. So you connect this terminal. Please connect this terminal to the previous circuit. So R5, R4, R5. Here R6. See, this is R6. This is R7. RTD. This is about the whole circuit. Okay. So inductive and capacitive transducers. So what happened? Let me explain the same concept here. See here. See here the probe. This is the various probe positions. So these are all probes or sensor heads. These are all the various positions of the what do you say this? Various positions of so urban So these are all various, various positions of objects. So you see, when see first listen here. So this is sensor head. So these are all sensor heads. Okay, sensor heads. So you see here, this indicate this is all the oscillation output. So oscillator output. So oscillator out. You see, then this is nothing but let me bring it here. So this is this position says no object. So the next is object is nearing the object is nearing the sensor head. So no object. This is no when no object. You can write as no oscillations. No object, no oscillation. Here object is nearing sensor head. So what happened? Oscillator starts increasing. See here, when the object is almost very close proximity to the sensor head, oscillation at maximum amplitude. Okay, normally the oscillation generates from 100 hertz to 1 megahertz. The oscillation levels. Okay, that is at resonance. It creates a resonance in the oscillator circuit. So this shows okay. This object is on the object is very near. So what happened? Oscillation at maximum amplitude. Now the object is leaving away. So leaving away. So when object is leaving, so the oscillation starts decreasing. So here again the object is fully away. So no object. So no oscillation again. See here. Okay. So you see, this is when object is away, no oscillation. So when object is approaching, the oscillator starts increasing, and when object away from that, object is decreasing. The oscillation is decreasing. So this is oscillator output. So this is demodulator. Okay, demodulator output. When demodulator goes to high, in the previous case, when demodulator goes low, Schmitt trigger goes to low. Here, when demodulator output goes to high, Schmitt trigger goes high. So Schmitt trigger high, demodulator high. Understand? So output, say since we use NPN transistor here, output is on. On means output is triggered on. This is output stage. So this is the NPN output. NPN transistor output. You see in here. So this is sensor probe. Let me explain. So sensor probe, sensor head, which has a capacitive electrodes, a pair of electrodes. Then this is oscillator circuit. Oscillator circuit. So this is nothing but your this is demodulator output. This is triggering stage. Okay. So triggering stage. This is demodulator stage. This is oscillator stage. So this triggering stage output goes to the next one. So these are all the different parts of the inductive capacitive proximity sensor. So here the signal from sorry, not here. This is sorry, supply line. From the Schmitt trigger, actually the Schmitt trigger, from the Schmitt trigger, this is from the Schmitt trigger. When the Schmitt trigger goes high, when the Schmitt trigger goes high, the NPN starts conducting. So when NPN starts conducting, so this is the output. This is the output circuit as well as power. So power and output are connected in this part. Whereas in the inductive transistor, that is of PNP transistor, PNP transistors are sourcing. NPN transistors are sinking output. So PNP transistor, sorry, NPN, PNP. PNP transistor sourcing output, then NPN transistor sinking output. So this is the operation of our this here similar to that. The output is maybe an alarm, okay, alarm or relay, even annunciator. You can also have annunciator, relay, and other switching devices. Okay. Other switching devices. Clear? This is about capacitive proximity sensor. You see the comparison of different transducer. So more inductive shield, inductive unshielded. This is inductive shielded and inductive unshielded. This is the capacitive proximity transducer. According to the configuration, the design for flush mounting in metal, available in cylindrical and limit switch sensors shapes, requires whereas unshielded requires clearance about the sensing, because if the sensing head is not shielded, some dust and moisture, so many things fall on the sensing head, so it prevents the sensing, very good sensing. Okay, so requires clearance to prevent false signals surrounding the metals. Available in cylindrical, limit switch shape, and small block, flat and rectangular shapes. Okay, flat and rectangular. So the advantage of inductive shielded type sensor head proximity sensor detects ferrous, iron, mild steel, aluminum, stainless steel. This is actually ferrous and non-ferrous. Non-ferrous are brass, copper, and aluminum. So it detects both ferrous and non-ferrous. Also color and the surface conditions not affecting the sensing head. Color and the surface not affected by the sensing head because it is fully shielded. Okay. Then reduce sensing distance, because as I told you earlier, the shielded type is almost 25 to 50% lesser sensitive than unshielded type. So the reduced sensing distance, the sensing distance range is 0.4 inches maximum. So you can sense maximum of 0.4 inches. 1 inch means 2.5 centimeter. So just imagine. Okay, 1 inch is 2.5 centimeter. 12 inch is 1 feet. Okay. So whereas here see here, the here sensor is not protected from the accidental impact damage and other things. Its length is maximum 1.5 centimeter maximum. 1.5 centimeter is how much? 1.5 centimeter is nothing but 1.5 divided by 1.5 divided by 2.5. 1.5 divided by 2.5. Clear? Similarly, for capacitive transducer, requires clearance around the sensing and prevent the false signal from the surrounding mounting materials. Available in cylindrical and flat rectangular shapes. These are all shapes available. Then our capacitive transducers detect plastic, glass, water, liquids, leather, wood, mica, and as well as metals. To detect metals, it should have a high dielectric strength. So this can detect material inside the non-metallic containers, right? The sensing range is very high for capacitance transducer. Sensing range is very high when compared with inductive type of sensors. So the applications of see here, the applications of both type of inductive transducer as well as capacitive transducers are liquid level sensing, filling plants, plastic parts detection, pallet detection, then irregularity in shapes. That is called crack as well as faulty. If the shape is some faulty, it will sense and detect. So these are all the standard applications. Also, you can add the object detection, object searching, and counting. Okay, you can add counting, object detection, and counting and all. So these are all applications of proximity transducers. Let's see one simple example for proximity sensor. You see, this is a sensor. When the object comes, this sensor gives signal. This is IR sensor. This is IR proximity sensor. It emits IR rays here. So this detector, IR detector. So when the object is approaching that, immediately it will give the signal. Okay, accurate signal. You see, these sensors are used to find the objects inside the containers, either box or liquid. This is the inductive transducer probe. This is a probe. This is all industrial probes. Simple probes. So sensor head. This is the connecting point. This is the conveyor. So when the parts is moving in the conveyor, this is our proximity sensor. It detects the objects moving. It also detects for scrapping material. You see, this is a sensor. See, when bottle is moving, this is our sensor. This is the scrap moving. To maintain the cars distance, the proximity sensors are equipped in the automobiles. It is happening in foreign countries, not in India.